BoDean 52, how are you, folks? There's three things I love about this motorcycle, and let me tell you what the first one is. Yep, you're right. It's called sport mode. Watch this. Man, this bike is quick. Oh, man, I am going to kill myself on this bike. Wow. So I just had my best buddy in the world, my hunting buddy, my brother by another mother, and his beautiful bride, and both of his boys came over to visit. And it's the first time that they have seen my 2024 Road Glide. And they were just like, man, that is sweet. It's not just a regular white, it's that pearl white that you talked about. And man, it is nice. And we were just talking about how quick this thing is and how I'm trying to be good on that first 500 miles. And of course, the break-in period. Many people say that you only need 30 or 50 miles, but you know what? I'm doing the 500 because I'm not an engine expert. But I got to tell you what, it is hard to keep that thing out of sport mode like you just saw at the beginning of this video. Obviously, I don't have the ability to do that, but it is super quick. He was talking to me when we were in the garage. He's like, how much do you love this? I'm like, dude, I just want you to know, if I die on this motorcycle from driving it too fast or riding it too fast, just tell people it's okay. He knew it may happen. He loved it. He's going with a smile, and he's super excited about it. And we were talking about it. He's like, you know, what's the horsepower and how is this thing really different from the Road Glide Limited you had? And I said, you know, other than about 100 pounds on it, you know, my old Road Glide was about 102, I think, 103 horsepower and 125 in torque. And this one, and that was a stage 2, this one comes right out of the box, a 117 at 105 horsepower and 130 in torque. So if you have a stage 2 on a bike and you buy a 2024 117, either a Street Glide or a Road Glide, at least right now, you are going to have really more than a stage 2. Now, I'm sure there's some folks out there that are going to tell me, well, that's not exactly true. All I know is I can tell by the numbers. I can tell by the BoDean 52 seat, because that's how I decide and feel about how quick the bike is. But it is fun. When I was just taking off there, and it's probably just in my mind, I swear the front of that bike just feels like it is just ready to come up. It's probably because I've been watching Thrash and Supply videos over the last couple of weeks like crazy, and they were just out at the track. And I'll put a link of that video in, and they ran a stock 2014. I don't know how far the distance is when they run it, but it ran like 7.8, which to them is pretty quick. So I just love that this thing has the different modes, whether it's rain, road, or sport mode. There's a custom mode too, but I'm figuring I'm not going to try to figure out how that works because that's only a little more dangerous to us. I will tell you that it is really the second thing I think that sticks me that I really love about this bike is it is nimble. I think it's 830, 832 wet, but you can really whip this thing around. It is so tight when you're riding it that it feels just so different than at least I'm used to. And it has been an amazing bike, but how nimble it is, you can just kind of feel it when you're even taking these corners. I've been trying to be a little more careful on the bike, just kind of getting to know it a little bit more. But even through some of these easy little turns like this, it is just, you know, you feel like you can almost lay that thing down close to the road. And it is really, really cool and just a super nimble bike. You can see that it takes nothing to move this thing around. So super excited about it. And I think with not only the horsepower, the speed, the torque, how quick this bike is, and how much you can maneuver it around, to me, those are two of the things that I really, really love about this motorcycle. Just kind of going through Stockbridge. I don't know if you saw that yellow Corvette just went by, going through Stockbridge, Michigan. And are you you know what? If you have cars, in my mind, you are either a Ford or a Chevy guy, or you are a Corvette guy or a Mustang guy, or you're one or the other. You're not both. You don't have like Corvettes and Mustangs. Now, I'm personally a Mustang guy. Not sure I would have a yellow Corvette, but I'm 6'3", man. I'm too big of a guy to get into a Corvette. But I told my wife all the time, Mrs. BoDean, I'm like, look, if I have to get rid of the bikes, I'm going to have some sort of fast car, and that's probably even more dangerous for me. So, but I'll tell you what, this bike has been a ride, and those are the two things that I really love about it the most. And the third thing that I love about this is the infotainment system. Now, I know there's a lot of folks out there that say, hey, wait a minute, the infotainment system, it's all digital, that stuff is going to break, it's going to short. And even the kids are waving at the bike. It's amazing. And it has just been a great, great difference to me, this infotainment system. I'll tell you what, you can put your map all the way across this thing. You can have different modes, whether it's touring or sport mode. You can change that on the display. And it is just perfectly bright all the time. And it's just so much different and really just so crisp and sharp that it's very, very impressive, and I really, really love it. So this is actually one of my favorite roads right now here in the country. And I don't know about you guys. Have you ever watched one of those shows called Storm Chasers, where people are actually chasing tornadoes, which I never really got? There's a house up here. Let me see if I can find it. This guy has like those tornado sirens that are on top of like fire departments and stuff. And he has some out in his yard. And when I first rode by here, hopefully they're still here, I'm like, man, what the heck's wrong with this guy? Why would he have these in his yard? And I'm like, that's kind of silly. And then every time I go by them, I'm like, man, these things are cool. I got to stop. You think it'd be wrong if I just stopped, took my bike up there and took a picture with him in front of my bike, not ask the guy? I don't know, but they are really cool. I know I'm getting a little off target. Focus, BoDean, focus. But these things are really cool. As a matter of fact, I think they're right about here. They are. Check that out. What the heck? Talk about lawn ornaments. That was pretty sweet. I will stop there one day. I'm just telling you. But it is amazing to me, this infotainment system. I did a survey, and I'll see if I can't put it up here in the corner, which is I asked, and I think there was like 300 people that responded, is if money was no option, you could get an older bike or a newer bike based on having technology or no technology, which would you prefer? And I wasn't sure what the results were going to be, but they were, I believe, 51 to new technology and 49 to old technology. If you follow the channel, you know I have a Road King Classic 2000 that has no technology on it, and I love riding that bike as much as I love riding this with all the technology. So I was surprised that there were as many people that wanted the new and old technology, and it was pretty split, which was a big surprise to me. Be interested, if you can, in the comments to let me know, what do you prefer? You prefer the old technology or the new technology, and the why? And if you happen to have both, how you feel. And for me, sometimes if it's been a crazy busy day, I want to get on the Road King and take it out with the old technology. But I'll tell you what, since I had this new bike, the infotainment system has been so impressive with the additions of the agility of this bike, how you can move it around, as well as just how quick this thing is. I'm not so sure why anybody would need to upgrade this 117, says BoDean 52. I'm telling you, it'll never happen. Trust me. Why would I need to do that? But I am starting to play with this thing a little bit. There's a couple of twisty roads. There's basically only two in Michigan, as there is, that I've taken the bike down just to get a little more idea of how it handles, and you know what kind of lean angles I can take on this thing. You can tell the speeds that I'm going in to some of these turns at. The bike is just so crisp. You do have to be careful, especially on some of the twisties. At this point, I am still or in the road mode now. But if you are in the other mode, It's going to be a little twitchy, and I'll tell you what, from a throttle response perspective, this thing can go. So I'm trying to be a little bit careful of that. I feel like I could touch the cement when I'm coming around these corners so much, because you can just get that bike so low. But it is a ton of fun. Those are the three things that I really love about this motorcycle. I think it's been fantastic so far. I'm still learning. 130 miles on it. Can't wait to get it out more. Can't wait to do some mild modifications to it. The bars and the motor are going to stay how they are, I swear. And I'm just going to spend more time doing a little bit of stuff to make this thing mine, but more time just riding it, because it is without a doubt the coolest bike that I've had. And if you don't know, the 24 Street Glides and Road Glides are totally different than all of the other Harley Davidsons, other than the frame. Everything else is without a doubt different. So if you're interested in something like that, man, check one out. If you don't think you're going to like the infotainment system, go by a Harley dealership, turn on one of the bikes and just check it out. You will be impressed. Normally, I can just pop on this bike and CarPlay pops up, and it is so easy to do. And again, such a nimble bike. It's just kind of fun to take these, even these little turns. But hopefully you all enjoyed the ride. Those are the three things that I love so far about my 2024 Road Glide. You all be safe out there. We'll talk to you soon, and make sure to check on a friend.